Well, hey guys, welcome back to day 4. I cannot believe we're already at day 4. It seems like it's been rushing right along. So, episode 4, of course, to correspond with day 4, went live today and all about doing different homestead builds and creating your homestead with the goal of doing it as cheaply or as debt free as possible. So, we have, of course, one of our homesteaders that was featured in episode 4 today. We'll be bringing on very shortly, but wanted to welcome you all here and would love to know, for those of you who watched episode 4 already today, what your favorite part was or your favorite takeaway. So, love to see that. Let us know in the comments. And just a little bit of housekeeping. If you are on here and you're like, I don't see the comments, it is streaming obviously through YouTube, which is a Google company. So you need to be logged into a Google account. And as long as you're logged into Google, then you will see the chat will just automatically appear. So if you are watching this and you don't see the chat, it's because you're not logged into Google. And so you just need to go out and then log in and come back. And you will be able to chat as well. And the reason is, one, we want to be able to see the parts that you guys are resonating with. And we will be doing a Q&A portion with Dawn towards the end. So you definitely want to be able to access the chat for that. But we're also going to do some really fun giveaways. And the way that you enter the giveaway is by leaving a very specific comment that we will cue you for at the time. And in order to win, you have to be on here live. So you want to make sure that you are able to get into that chat area. Let's see. I see Barbara says from today's episode, being self-sufficient and slowing life down to be able to appreciate and enjoy life. Barbara, yep, that is a very key thing. Oops, I am getting, there we go. Hey, H. James, glad you could join us again from southeastern Idaho. You haven't finished the video yet, but you love what you've seen. Yeah, well, and that brings up a great point. So if you're just joining us today or you've been with us from the beginning, all of the episodes are available to watch free and will be up through this coming Monday. So Monday the 16th. And of course, tomorrow is the last episode that will be released in the free premiere. But again, you can access all of those through Monday the 16th, including these live Q&A sessions. So if you joined us later or maybe you missed one of our live sessions, especially when we hit that Q&A part, like a lot of really good wisdom and answers being laid down. So highly recommend you go back and catch those too. So all of those aspects will be up through Monday the 16th. And of course, for those of you who already bought the all season access pass, you will have access to all of that forever because you now own season 1 and season 2. And we will also be loading these live chats. Will get loaded into that portal area where you watch them. So let's see. Farm Fresh, you had captions, CC captions on it. It kept saying Dawn. Yeah, sometimes those captions can get you, or maybe it's just me. I might not pronunciate words slowly or clearly enough. So we are super excited to bring Dawn on. So Dawn from Little Mountain Life, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, super excited to have you today. So we're going to start this off with a question that we've been asking everybody. And that is, what is the one thing that you are really excited about for your homestead in 2023?
The big thing is diversifying income with the upcoming Airbnb project that we're trying to get moving forward with. It's kind of been hard to get it going, but I think this is the year it's going to happen. And it'll take all the pressure off my wife. She's the main breadwinner. And if I can start bringing in some more dough, that'd be good.
Yeah. Well, I think diversification of income is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the geodesic dome, right? That you were building. Yep. For anyone who hasn't seen the episode today, then right at the end, Dawn, because when we filmed, that was almost, well, when you filmed, when we did the interview, that was almost over a year and a half ago. So now, for those who follow you on YouTube, have probably seen that you're sort of way ahead with there. So is it like, where are you at with the build on the geodesic dome?
Well, we still need the property. They are being stubborn. They're not selling it to us. So there, there's a thought to build the Airbnb on our 5 acres, but 5 acres sounds like a lot. But when you're inviting other people to come stay overnight on your property, complete strangers, that's a whole nother thing. So It's the 20 acres right next to us, and in our county, we're actually not allowed to have like a campground set up unless you have at least 20 acres. So it's perfect for that. And obviously, I'll be able to run right down the hill and like do the cleaning and everything. I'm not gonna hire anything out. It's all gonna be on me. So yeah, it'll be really cool. They're just being stubborn with their price. They're trying to get like that the high sellers market price that everybody was getting like 8 months ago, and we're not falling for that. I don't want to spend all that cash on it. So we're ready for it as soon as they can come down on price a little bit. And then the dome itself with like 4 people, you can have it up in a couple days. And then I'm going to finish it inside all fancy. And so all the city slickers from Washington, D.C., when they come out, they don't feel like they're, sleeping with the snakes and bugs.
Well, Dawn, we just actually purchased the farm last summer down the road from us and have it as a farm stand. We just went live. In fact, our third guest, we just went live December 30th with guests. Will be coming in this weekend. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so you're definitely on the right path. I'm still at the beginning of that path, but we've got the guests coming in, and yeah, it's been an adventure for sure, but it's also really cool to be able to use that avenue to slowly kind of introduce people, let them experience this, hopefully get a taste for it. And we're kind of doing a little bit of a bridge, like where when they come, if they want to help with farm chores, which I know sounds funny, and I know it'll slow us down a little bit, but it also is a way to open up that communication and hopefully get more and more people interested in at least supporting, local community and local agriculture and thinking along those lines more. So I think it's great that you guys are looking to do that. I think it's a needed bridge for people sometimes to be able to just get out and experience that, and then just become more aware of that. So kudos to you guys. I hope it goes really well.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Farm stays are really getting popular. So like just to get them out here. And I would love to have like goats and pigs like around the dome. And they're like, hey, what's that? I'm like, that's do bacon tomorrow.
Yeah. It's going to be really cool. We'll see how cool I think it is after having went through, a longer period of time with it. I hope I'm still as optimistic as I am now. So,
sure.
Yeah. Okay, well, we have some really cool giveaways. So if you have been joining us on these for this week thus far, you are familiar with them. But we're going to show you what's in the bags today. We're going to pick 2 winners. And after Carrie shows you all of the wonderful goodies, then we'll tell you how to enter if you want to enter that giveaway. And then we'll be diving into some more questions with Dawn.
Okay, I feel like I'm getting faster and faster at doing this. There's so much stuff stuffed in these bags. And I know some of you who have been here daily will probably have memorized some of them by now. So the Farm Made cookbook is traditional recipes from America's farmers. And it's a compilation of loads of recipes that are put together by homesteaders. And the really cool thing about this is that it's all made from produce that you can raise or grow yourself. And so you should really be able to build your pantry and then use this book to put food on the table. So that is in there from Farm Made USA. We have got, to get you going, seed sets from Halden Garden. There are all kinds of different seed sets. That was edible flowers. This one's a cottage garden seed set. Cottage gardens are really quite English, so I quite like this. There's in here zinnias, snapdragons, nasturtiums, marigolds, sunflowers, and there's loads of different types. There's sets for full gardens, sets for herbs, vegetables, so all different seed sets. We have beeswax wraps from 5 Dog Farm, which Nikki makes these really cool wraps out of all of her different fabrics for keeping your, you can use them in lunch packs for your sandwiches or over containers in the fridge to replace using plastic. So those handcraft items, and they're reusable as well, saves on the waste. What else? We've got more seeds from Timber Creek Farm and Homestead. Janet's at Timber Creek Farm, and she puts her sample of her homemade fiber from her fiber goats and sheep. I think she's doing more sheep than goats these days. Yeah, sheep. We have got Salve Healing Balm from Twin Creeks Farm. She has, I'm pretty sure she has goat's milk products. In here is calendula, lavender, tea tree. So she uses this as a healing salve. We have got amazing soap from two of our homesteaders, from Blackberry Hill Farm and also Mel at Wockenfirst Family Farm. I said yesterday, I wish you could smell these soaps. They are absolutely divine. What else have we got? We've got a honeybee gift pack with $100, and that contains body butter, propolis products. It comes with some honey. They have salves and all of the good things that they make. We've got ceramic plant pots from Heather at Modern Mini Homestead, who actually is a lady of many talents. One of the things she does is pottery, so she's included these cute plant pots. And then we have T-shirts from Grow Build Raise and Lico Honey. And I've probably forgotten a whole load of things, but that is the stash on offer today. So over to you, Melissa.
That is a really good stash. And so if you would like to win said stash and haven't won already, put that preface out there, then the way to enter the giveaway, and we will pick 2 winners, and you do have to be on here live. So if you're going to be hopping off here in the next couple of minutes, don't enter. But we hope you stay and that you enter, and good luck to everybody. So the way to enter is to put in the chat, is to write the comment, I want season 1 and 2 bundle. I want season 1 and 2 bundle, and then we will pick 2 winners from that. So ready, set, go. Okay. And then our next question, while you guys are entering in that giveaway, is for Dawn. And that is, what's one thing you wished you'd known before starting homesteading?
That I didn't have to do everything. Because had I known that, I wouldn't have taken on so much so early on. And, everybody kind of gets ahead of themselves well, not everybody, but people like me get ahead of themselves when they take on these projects, and kind of like a new lifestyle. You spend 2 years binging YouTube content on all the top homesteaders and reading blogs, and you say, I want to do all those things and all the plants and animals. And there's only so much time in the day and so much energy, especially when you have a family of 4 living in a camper without a house when we were first up here. So if I would have known that, it would have been a little easier early on for sure.
Yeah, that is some great words of wisdom. And I'm curious, so since, we had the filming that everybody got to see today, that was actually filmed over a year ago, I think close to 2 years ago. So as far as furthering along the project and the builds and stuff, what does that kind of look like now? Like where are things now compared to what everybody saw on episode 4 today?
Sure. Yeah, that was, like a lot of B-roll from all the home build projects and everything. I'm trimming out the front wall of windows, and then, the house, I can call it like 100% done. It's been like 95% done for I feel like 10 months. It just, especially living in a construction zone, it makes things very difficult when you're in here and you're trying to do all the projects. And I don't have a shop space or a garage. So I've gone through 3 sets of outdoor canopies where I try to make it my workshop space, covering all the saws and equipment, and then a storm will destroy it. It won't blow it away, because I learned my lesson the first time it did blow away. But after that, I started anchoring it down, and a couple months ago, I had our first small snowstorm, and it just collapsed the whole roof. And so there's always setbacks, and we're almost to the very end, and looking forward to calling it done so we can move forward with the Airbnb build and get that next phase of mountain life for us moving forward.
Yeah. Well, that is
exciting. When you say that you would have, not taken on so much, are there certain aspects of it that you would have sort of, looking back, you go, you know what, I could have got help with this, or I should have got help with that? Or there are other specifics? If other people are thinking about or planning for their own home build, are there certain things that you wouldn't have with hindsight taken on specifically?
That's a really good question. So for those of you that haven't seen any of that of the stuff with our build, with our home build, we did have a contractor dry in the home. So I had a workable shell to go with, and then I've done most of the stuff on the inside. There are things that I like the kitchen. We had Lowe's put in our kitchen because we were tired of not having a kitchen. So like that's something where I still feel like, dang, I could have done that. Like I have the skills to put in a kitchen and a countertop and everything. But it was nice that I made the choice. Hey, my family needs a kitchen. Let's give them a kitchen.
Right.
So there are things I'm glad I did reach out for help for. I don't know what I would have added to the plate of like a contractor instead of myself. Looking back, I think it's just been like a series of unfortunate events and weird timing with sicknesses and minor disasters here and there that have helped make this take so long. And technically, we should have been like in a camper or at a different house the whole time I've been working in here. But it is what it is, and it's taken this long, but it'll be done soon, and it's still all been worth it. And a big thing with our talk today, it's all been debt free. We've paid cash for everything. Any contractor that we did use, especially early on, to have the house built, it was $52,000, and thanks to preparing for that early on and taking our proceeds from moving out of suburbia and selling that townhouse, we've been able to keep it without, we use credit cards, but we pay them off every month, and everything's been in cash for the most part. So
it's awesome.
Yeah, that is impressive that you've been able to build a house for $52,000. Seriously, we
the
just
shell
did,
of it. Yeah.
but still, that's that. I feel like you need a round of applause.
Exactly.
Thanks.
Yeah, that is amazing. Okay, so we are going to announce our first winner. So the first winner for today's giveaway is Susan Jones. So Susan, I hope you're still on. You get 5 minutes. You need to email info@homesteaddocumentary.com. Email info@homesteaddocumentary.com. And in the subject line, put claiming day 4 prize, claiming day 4 prize, and then give us your shipping address so that we can get that shipped out to you. So congrats, Susan. Email us right now, because if we don't see your email in the next 5 minutes, we're going to have to pick another winner. So I know I saw some questions coming through. Now I just have to scroll back that are for Dawn. So if you have questions specifically about Dawn, their build, debt-free, all the things that they're doing there, now is the time to ask them. And here it is. Paige had asked, and I think we kind of talked about this just a little bit in the follow-up question that Carrie that you had, but specifically, Paige wants to know, Dawn, who do you delegate to, and do you hire help?
Yeah, I'm the general contractor, and everything, it comes down to me. And like I said, we only hired out the shell that I designed. Like I had a bunch of sketches and everything, and I designed it and sent it to a builder. And then they sent down the Amish crew to build it, and then just the kitchen was hired out, and then the initial electrician job to actually run the wire from the grid to our house to get that main panel in. But I've done all the electrical off of that panel. So it's only been those few minor things. Like I think not everybody, but a lot of people, you'd be surprised what you can do yourself if you just kind of, if as long as you're doing something that's not like deadly, like messing with electricity when you have no idea what you're doing. But for the most part, you can try things, and if you screw up, it's not the end of the world. If you cut a board wrong, you're gonna have to go buy another board to replace that one. But it is what it is. So I guess in some ways been brave enough to do it, but in other ways, like it's taken so long, and my family's been in an unfinished house this long. But you live and learn. And I like to think of it like when I build my next Airbnb build, and then later on that same property, we want to build a second actual house, like a full house there. And so everything I've done up to this point with this house and this project is new information for me and experience for me to make those future projects go much smoother than they would otherwise.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, next question is from Shannon. And Shannon asks, is there any advice on how to pick a contractor, like certain questions you would ask, that type of thing?
Sure. I mean, it really depends on the job that you're hiring them for, because there's like you can have a subpar contractor with certain parts of it, but if it's like electricity, obviously you need to vet them. I luckily had kind of a family friend for that who was also extremely well established in the area. I reach out on my local community pages all the time. Like I'm really close to Front Royal, Virginia, where the Homesteaders of America conference is, and I'm in What's Up Front Royal's Facebook group all the time looking up contractors. And even if I'm not ready for a job, I'm always lurking there when somebody else asks the question about, hey, who's building your deck? Or hey, who's digging your drainage for your French drain or whatever. I'm keeping an eye on that, and then I can always go back and search and keep an eye on the names. But I don't I don't do anything just like off of one call. I will call multiple contractors. And something that I've learned and can say with confidence, if you call a contractor and they're like, "Yeah, I can be there tomorrow," they might not be the best choice because the best contractors are busy. And especially if it's a big job like having our deck built, we had to wait months for that to be built because they were busy building other beautiful decks first. So you definitely want to make multiple calls and reach out to your community to see who's had the good experiences with those contractors.
Yeah, yeah, completely agree with that. Having just went through a lot of that ourselves with that place. So great. This one is from Ellie and says, Don, how do you decide what tasks take top priority for your days? This is a good one. With building as well as trying to survive garden work and animals, do you
Yeah.
often feel overwhelmed? Yeah. So question one is priorities for your days, deciding what top priority is, and then the overwhelmed question.
Yeah. First of all, I'm overwhelmed all the time. And because of that, I try to like map out. I have like a calendar that I jot down. It's not super official. It's just a paper where I write down kind of like, what do I need to get done this week? Any upcoming deadlines and that kind of thing, as far as like maybe in the inspections that I had to go through for the home build and that kind of thing. I'm not the most organized person in the world. I am happy to admit it. And so I'm not the best person to take advice from, but I tend to do better when I write things down. And obviously, with things taking priority, it's my kids first and foremost. My kids and my wife, I need to take care of them and make sure that they're good to go. I quit my teaching job, so I'm the stay-at-home dad. My wife is working her butt off full time, still from home, but I need to be making sure that I leave time to take care of the kids and prepare the meals and get them to school because I drive them both ways to school. That just those are my priority first, and then after that, I have not a ton of animals, but our chickens and our ducks, and making sure that they're always getting fed every day. That's kind of like an obvious thing, but sometimes it gets to like 12 noon. And it's like, oh man, I haven't been out there today because it's been rainy and nasty. I need to go feed the chickens. So there's just always like the standard everyday priorities. But for everything else, I just try to get it done when I can and write things down to try to help me remember where it all goes.
Yeah. Okay. We are, before we answer this question, I should say, Gina, I feel your pain, sis. I'm in Washington State as well. But we are, Susan. Good job, Susan. She got us the info and she has claimed her prize. So, second
Nice.
giveaway winner is Farm Fresh. So, Farm Fresh, same thing, 5 minutes, friend. Shoot us an email, info@homesteaddocumentary.com, claiming day 4 and your shipping address. So we'll keep an eye on that, Farm Fresh. I think I see you in the chat, so I'm pretty sure you're still on here live. So shoot us that information to lock in your prize. I'm feeling like a game show host. And then Susan's, we have a different one. Gina's question was first.
That's kind of the same question. So I was thinking they can answer both in one. It's about permitting, right?
Yeah. Yes, they both did. Basically, they're asking about issues with permitting and the permit process.
Yeah. That was rough because we built the pole barn house, which is non-conventional. It's not a stick build on a foundation crawl space. It did take a long time to get that approved. I think it was 5 months actually to get our home plans approved. So it's something that if you're doing something weird to the local area, you need to kind of build that time into your build. And then luckily we've had a good inspector, so he's been very flexible with us and helping me along. So if something was wrong and he needed to fail the inspection, he would be very clear with why I need to fix it and to keep within the confounds of the permit. But different places are harder to build in than others. And if we were in Fairfax County instead of where we are, it would have been 10 times harder. And if we were down in Southwest Virginia, it would have been 10 times easier. It just depends on where you are. Get comfortable with your local code. And if you don't know how to read code, find some contractors that can help you out.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Let's see here. Had to block a couple of people for being inappropriate. So if you saw that, we are working on getting them blocked. I think there may be a 12-year-old who is in the comment section. But this question is from Judy, and Judy wants to know if you guys have considered homeschooling.
Absolutely have considered it. In fact, we kind of did it a little bit during the whole shutdowns with the schools. And I, being a former teacher, I'm plenty qualified for it. But just kind of our dynamics with our girls and their personalities and everything, if they ever needed to homeschool full time, I'd be 100% willing to do it. I think that both of them really enjoy being at the school. And luckily, we have a really nice school. Not everybody has the luxury of having a nice public school where they are. That's why I'm for school choice and voucher programs. But anyhow, we've considered it. It's just not perfect for us. My wife was actually homeschooled and I was public schooled. So if it came down to it, I would totally do it if they need to. But for now, we're good sending them in.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, this one's from the Spurgeons. I hope I pronounced that right. Apparently, I have a phobia of mispronouncing your names. And that is, are there any projects that you did later that you wish you'd have prioritized at the beginning? That's a good one.
That is a good one. I can say with confidence now, after spending $5,000 on tree removal this week or this last week, that I wish I would have taken those trees down earlier, because I could have done those by myself before the house is built. We thought that we could, when you're picking a home site, trees are very important. And you always say, I want to move to the woods and onto the mountain to be one with the trees. And then the trees fall in your house. You're like, I don't want to be one with them anymore. So I wish I would have known to take those down. They weren't crazy close. They weren't like 5 feet from the house. But a freaking tall tree is going to fall far. So that's one thing I definitely wish I would have changed. But other than that, prioritizing projects at the beginning of the process, it felt a little weird to build the chicken coop before my house was built, but it was what it was.
For people who haven't seen your Instagram or YouTube, just quickly elaborate. You had a tree fall on part of your house, right?
So it didn't actually hit our house. It punched a hole through my cargo trailer, right, and fell on my truck and cracked my windshield. Getting that replaced next week, yay! And I've got dents on cars, and then so my wife, her office is in the shed, and my wife is like such a key part to this whole thing because she's the one that makes the money, allows us to be debt free. She's a professional audiobook narrator with over 400 titles on Audible. She's amazing, and I built her recording studio inside that shed. And sheds would not stand up to a tree. And this one tree has been leaning over her shed. So after that recent ice storm that we had, dropped the cash and said, I need you guys to come out here and take this down safely before, she's out there in the middle of a recording session reading a horror story and becomes part of the horror story,
Yeah. We live in a very wooded area, and I'm with you. It is way easier to take them down before you actually have your construction in, and then you're having to get specialty fallers and climbers and sometimes dealing with topping and just much easier to do beforehand. So really, really great points. Okay, so Farm Fresh, look at you all today. You are on the ball. She I'm assuming, sorry, I don't know if it's she or he from Farm Fresh. However, they have claimed their prize and got us their shipping info. So our giveaways for today are over, but we still have 2 more prize bundles to do tomorrow for tomorrow's live. So make sure that you hang out with us again tomorrow and we'll get those. And we wanted to give you guys an update too. So every day we have been giving you an update for how many people are signed up for the premiere. And as of today, we have almost 17,500. I think it was 17,467 people signed up for the free premiere, which is amazing. And our goal is by the end of tomorrow is to hit 20,000 people signed up for the free premiere. So if you are enjoying it and watching this, if you would please share homesteaddocumentary.com. That's the sign up page where people can still sign up for free and catch every single episode still. And then tomorrow will be episode 5. Please do share that homesteaddocumentary.com website address and let people know how much you're enjoying it so that we can get more of the message out on how anybody can homestead at wherever you are right now, and just tons of examples of different families who are making it work and would just homesteading is such an important thing for our economies, for our country, for our personal health, our families, so that more and more people become aware of that they can do it is really important. So we thank all of you who have been sharing this far and to please continue to do so. Farm Fresh, how many purchases do you need for season 3 international? Okay, well, I love your question and your optimism. You're like, we're going to do this. I love that. That is actually a great question. And I don't have the exact answer because for international, it would depend on if, people self-film, if we were to send a camera crew and all that. So I don't have an exact number, but we are hoping that if we can get 1,000 purchases if we have already 17,000, almost 500 people signed up, that's actually a pretty small percentage of folks buying the bundle. And so that's kind of our goal is if we can get 1,000 people, then we'll know that, that there's really something here support wise and the money to actually help fund and help to pay for that with production and camera, all the things that needs to happen for that. So thank you for your support. Yeah. That is awesome. And we're really excited to see things gaining momentum and just more people being able to access the information. And for Dawn, thank you so much for not only filming and sharing your family's story and your build, but also your time coming on here today.
Sure. Thanks for having me. It's been fun to be a part of this project for sure.
Yeah. Really exciting. Let's see. Ellie, you're only hearing half of the words. It sounds like that might be your internet. Yeah. I think I'm not seeing anybody else reporting it, and I'm hearing Dawn really clear and Carrie and vice versa. The good news is that we'll have the recording, and so you'll be able to go back and watch that. And I've noticed too, even sometimes when I'm watching a stream, that my internet will kind of be funky, but then once it's just a recording, I'm able to watch it easier and not have that buffering that you're experiencing. So yeah, this will be up. It'll be the same link. YouTube will just record it and then it'll play just like a regular video. So you can come back later all the way through Monday and watch it. Lost Dog Farm, all good here. Okay, great. Yeah, awesome. Brianna, you're buying the bundle tomorrow. Need your paycheck. Yes, we don't want you to go in debt, though we do appreciate your support. So wait for that paycheck, friend. And Lydia, how many people have bought the bundle? Thus far, I think we're right at 300. So what is that? Almost a third of goal, which is pretty good. We're excited about that and very hopeful that we'll reach the goal. So we'll keep you guys posted, as we get closer and share more of that with you as it goes. Gina, how did you find your subjects for this documentary, and did people submit themselves? So I'll let you guys take that part.
It's kind of funny because at the very beginning of the concept of the project, I was chasing people down by seeing them on Instagram. I put a shout out on Instagram and I had, a really good response. But at the same time, I had also seen different people who I was worried I might lose them again. So I was like, can I talk to you about, being in a documentary? And as it gathered momentum, we then it started to happen both ways. So like for Don, for example, I had met him at Homesteaders of America at the conference, and then, you know, chatted to him later, and there was just a lot happening on his homestead that I was like, people need to like see and experience what it's like for a family in the mountains to do, you know, a debt-free self-build. And, you know, and then at the same, so I was kind of like chasing him. And at the same time, then there are other people who I've not connected with who are letting me know about, you know, hey, I do this with, you know, like I think Stephanie with the gluten-free sourdough that we had yesterday, or different people would say, or a couple of people who have said, I see that you don't have anybody yet in Texas, or, and had just sort of like reached out by word of mouth. But I think that if we do get to go ahead with a season 3, we would totally love to be able to take applications for people, because, you know, my reach and Melissa's reach is only a certain portion. So, you know, we would love to sort of like hear of people who know about the project and want to be involved. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Yeah. So Farm Fresh asked, can we apply to be on the future doc? And yeah, once we know for sure if there will or will not be a season 3, we definitely will email out. So you're already registered for the premiere, so we would just email everybody out on that, when letting you know if that happens, and then also a link for people to apply if that's of interest to you. So yeah, we will
another
definitely
good reason to be on the list. Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry, I was saying another good reason to be on the list. If you want to be in season 3, then it's going to happen via being on the email list.
Yeah. And then we've got one more question here for you, Dawn. And this one is from Ellie, and said, oh, this is fun. These are questions from her kids. One is, why did you want to start your own farm and homestead? And 2, what kinds of animals do you have? And somebody says you better have a horse.
Well, my girls wish we had a horse, but we definitely don't have a horse. No, honestly, I just was inspired by the people starting their homesteads, and I knew that I wanted to kind of maximize what would give back to us as a family as far as like food production and everything. So it's been incredible having our own chicken eggs and duck eggs, and we did meat birds before as well. So I'm looking for like the higher yield type stuff, more practical. But we've got goats and pigs in the plans for the future. It's just getting organized enough for all that to happen, but just kind of like the basics for now. And that's good for now.
Yeah. Back to not overwhelming and trying to do too much at once, right? Yeah. Build
I don't have
layers.
pasture. I'm on a mountain. I can't have a herd of beef cows. So
yeah, no, that's true. It's very tough without any pasture. Yeah. Which actually brings up a really good question. And this is from Lost Dog Farm, and says, she or he, sorry that I don't know whoever, I feel bad. Love this episode. It was so applicable to our situation. Mountain gardening is tough. Would you think about, and I think this question is, but if you want to talk about mountain gardening in reference to this, Dawn, would be great. But would we think about, I think Carrie and I, about including more mountain homesteads? Those are unique growing challenges for sure. So Dawn, I'll let you address any tips you might have on mountain gardening, and then Carrie and I can talk.
Yeah, second. Big rocks everywhere. I could bring in a lot of soil and kind of build something up, but that would be very, very expensive. We still did bring in soil for our raised beds. One of my most popular videos on my YouTube channel is the DIY raised garden bed video. And so the raised garden beds are just outside my window right here. They're relatively easy to put together because it's just a box, and we love it being so close to the house, and it's the best option for up here. So we don't have to work around all the rock and everything, because that would just be nearly impossible.
Yeah. And I'll just add, I'm not in this current mountain situation that like Dawn is in, but we do live in the mountains. And so, you know, anything, if you're in a situation like that where you don't have a ton of space, or in more mountain forested type, is any type of native perennial food sources, because you're not going to have to fuss and fight with them in order to get them to grow. And lots of times there'll be different agencies in your area that will have native plant sales, especially in the spring. So do a little bit of searching, ask your local county extension office and that type of thing, because especially like fruit wise production, there's a lot of native plants, and those sales, like For example, we have one in our state. And so I'm able to get, it's like a bundle of 10 elderberries that are native to our area. And they're like, I think it's like $2 a plant, which I mean, you can't touch that at a nursery. Wow. And it's varieties that are obviously native to your area. So they're going to grow really well. So that would be something I would look at. Now, no, it's not your vegetables, right? But it is bringing in some things that you're not going to have to fuss and fight with as much. And so definitely look at some of those avenues as well.
Yeah. And it's awesome to see, as Lost Dog Farm was saying, what do you think about including more mountain homesteads? I think one of the things about the documentary is that it covers a lot of people in different climate zones, different sort of geographical areas. So as you'll see in tomorrow's episode, there is a family who live on a very rocky square footage, and you see how they've used where they're living to develop their farm around the geography and topography of the ground. But I would love, if we did go forward with a season 3, to do something by episodes by state or zone or different sort of geographical environment, because there's so many different challenges. And unlike England, where everything is kind of same within a few degrees, there's such a range in the US. It's completely different. And you need different sort of aspects. So that's what I love about the different stories.
Yeah. And we'll, if we get because I'm going to speak hopeful and positively, when right. we get to the point that we could do season 3, we will include you guys. So if you're on the email list, we'll send out an email with surveys, to see, any changes you'd like to see or what you'd like to see included, obviously opening that up for people to submit to be featured and covered in season 3 and all of that. So really key, stay on that email list, because we really hope to be able to create something that serves everybody and is covering all those different things and showcasing them. So I think what Lydia wanted to know, Carrie, what the name of that cookbook was again that is in the giveaway bundle.
Oh, it's Farm Made Cookbook. It's actually available in Tractor Supply. So if you have a TSC local to you, you can buy it there. And I think it's also on Amazon. So Farm Made Cookbook, and it's by Farm Made USA, who you can find on Instagram.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And then someone asked, what do I mean by local extension? So if you are in the United States, your local county extension office has a lot of different resources. And so they have a website. You'll see they have agriculture resources. They have all different kinds of things. So just go look up whatever your county is and put in local county extension office, and some great resources, a lot of them free. Some, maybe a few relatively inexpensive, but very tailored to your area. So definitely go and check them out. They have different programs, sometimes different workshops that they do, just all kinds of stuff. So you just need to go and plunk around there, and you'll find some great stuff. Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, that wraps it up for today. And we're so excited. Tomorrow's the last day, which we're kind of sad, but is also going to be awesome. So we will be sharing episode 5 bright and early tomorrow morning, and we'll see you back here, same time, same place.